الركوين. سوريا مين بيقدر عليها مدام الاسد والحيدر عليها. روحوا يا شعب سوريا واعملوا عصبات واكتبوا عليها. الجيش السوري سامد بوجه الصعاب. نلتقي معكم.
أنا لحرق بني عرعور، أنا لحرق بني عرعور، كلابهن وخنازيرهن على نار الحطب. بدك الروح يا الأسد والعين.
واقفين قاعدين السبيكر مشان تسمعوا الصوت، نزلوا كلاتكم تحت.
يا عرعور بدرية ودرعة ودير الزور، أنا لحرق بني عرعور بدرية ودرعة ودير الزور، ورابع وحمص وتدمر والعين وندفن أردوغان وحمد بحلال. أنا سيد حسن أوصف المبدأ، انصف المبدأ وقيده، وفك الشعب من أسره وقيده. أبو هادي يا سيد حسن انصف المبدأ وقيده، وفك الشعب من أسره وقيده. حلف الرعد بخيبر يتفجر، وقيده تل أبيب وحيفا الموت طار.
In St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm also one of the organizers of the anti-NATO protest 1 year ago in Chicago, where 15,000 people marched to confront the war makers of NATO. I want to tell you what happened after we organized the anti-war protest that put Obama in office. Obama had our houses raided by the FBI. 23 of us were subpoenaed to a grand jury in Chicago saying that we were being investigated for material support for terrorism because we support Palestinians and the freedom of the Palestinian people to rule their land. But the 23 of us, we refused to go to the grand jury. It's a secret court where you don't even get to have a lawyer in there when they ask you questions. So we said no. We are in solidarity with the people of Palestine, and we are not going to talk about the Palestinians who we help to the U.S. government. Now you know, when the U.S. went to war in Yugoslavia, they pulled that country apart and destroyed it. You know, when the U.S. went to war in Iraq, they killed 1 million people and destroyed everything. But the Iraqi resistance kicked them out. The U.S. cannot do what they want all the time. The U.S. and NATO, they blew up all the infrastructure in Libya and wrecked the place where there is no democracy today. It's just the corporations that go in and take what they want. Also in Afghanistan, the U.S. is being forced out of there. And now, if the U.S. thinks they can go into Syria, they've got another thing coming. It's because of you and the resistance to the U.S. and the opposition to Israel that the U.S. empire is in decline. And we have to build the U.S. anti-war movement to support you, to support the government of Syria, to support the independence of Syria, and stop the U.S. and Israel, and stop NATO in their tracks. We are with you today, and we will build opposition from today until the U.S. stays out. Good luck.
Good job.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'd like to introduce the Sheikh Hisham al-Husayni. تفضل مولانا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين مالك الخلائق أجمعين والصلاة والسلام على سيد خلق الله أجمعين أبي القاسم محمد صلوات. عربي ولا انجليزي؟
عربي.
كل واحد
شوي.
قبل كل شيء خليني احكي شوية عربي بعدين انجليزي.
جود.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اولا اريد ان احيي البطل الاسد، اسد سوريا. واسد العقيدة واسد الاسلام. واريد ان اقول لاعداء سوريا ولاعداء الاسلام ولاعداء العرب، ما في كل الاسد. مين بده يقاتل الاسد؟
ولا واوي. الله يحميه.
فنقول للمسلمين وللدول العربية، إذا كنتم فعلا مسلمين وأعراب فعليكم أن تساعدوا الأسد وأن تمشوا خلف الأسد، لأنه لم تبقى جبهة واحدة لقتال الصهاينة إلا جبهة الأسد. ومن العار اكيد لشخصين. اكيد في شخص كبير بنحبه كثير الله يعطيه العافيه، اكيد هو بالجيش العربي السوري السيد العميد ماهر حافظ الاسد. كمان في تحيه للسيد الكبير كثير للسيد نبيه بري. كمان التحيه الكبير كثير لسيد المقاومه لحبيبنا السيد البطل تحية كبيرة من كل الشعب اللي هون للسيد الرئيس البطل ابن البطل المرحوم حافظ الأسد السيد الرئيس بشار حافظ الأسد. I'll try to be as brief as I can. I have a more serious talk, less, incendiary matters. I've been a lawyer for 33 years, and unlike Mr. Obama, thinks we're all stupid. I actually read things like the UN Charter and the resolutions of the United Nations, and I found that in Article 2 of the UN Charter and Resolution 37.8, you cannot move to overthrow the sovereign government of a member state of the United Nations. It is a war crime to do that. It is a war crime to try to overthrow the sitting president of a member state of the United Nations. And yet, despite the polls in this country, the polls in England and in Germany and in France, that's exactly what NATO is doing, and that's exactly what Obama is doing right now. Now, we're already stupid, right? Because you see, the United States has not sent weapons to the terrorists in Syria. That's the Qataris, that's the Turks, that's the Saudis. Isn't that right? I mean, wasn't the United States, even though 1 year ago the New York Times confirmed the U.S. in fact was facilitating the transfer of weapons via Qatar. Because see, Qatar is an independent country and can survive easily without the United States, can do anything it wants. The fact of the matter is the U.S. was facilitating the transfer of deadly weapons to the terrorists in Syria, and as a matter of fact, Mr. Obama, in his complicity with his Confederates, is a war criminal under the law, the international law, and the criminal courts of the United Nations. He is a war criminal, and he's dangerously in war crime territory. Now, all of this is because Saudi Arabia is our ally. Now, ladies out there, all you women, you know that in Saudi Arabia, they are so liberal that women cannot drive, women cannot travel, women can't have co-education. There are no churches that can be built in Saudi Arabia on their holy sand. You can't have a beer in Saudi Arabia. You can't go to the cinema in Saudi Arabia. And they just executed a woman for sorcery, shawazi, in Saudi Arabia in the 21st century. أعدموا مرة للشعوذي بتهمة الشعوذي بالقرن ال21. هذه حليفة أمريكا. Saudi Arabia, the most oppressive nation on earth, is now the most loyal ally of Mr. Obama. The terrorist rats just beheaded 2 Christian men in Idlib in front of a camera. They cut their heads off. They cut the head off of a Franciscan monk in Idlib also, and they sliced off his head and left it there to die. About 8 months ago, they killed one of the sheikhs of an Aleppo mosque because he would not kowtow to their demands to denounce President Assad, the legitimate president of the Syrian Arab Republic, the president. Now, I want to make this very short. I can prove in any court of law that Obama, Cameron, Hollande of France, Erdogan of Turkey, Hamad, the husband of Madame Banana, Abdullah, and his stuttering, muttering, blithering Indian
idiot of a foreign minister, that drunk Salva Faisal, are war criminals.
Shaking, man.
That's the guy. I guess you know him. Thousands of Syrian citizens are dying. I'm asking all of you tomorrow morning to call your senator, your congressman, to call the State Department, tell them how you feel. Tell your friends to call. No weapons to Syrian terrorist rats.
Yes.
No weapons to foreign terrorist rats. They are rats and nothing. They are cockroaches, and they don't deserve anything else because they are murderers, they are beheaders, and they eat the hearts of our Syrian soldiers in front of a camera. And they think it's really great. Thank you very much.
Against war and injustice. He is the editor of the Pan-African News. His name is Mr. Abayomi Azikwe. We welcome him.
All right, thank you so much. It's an honor for the Michigan Emergency Committee Against War and Injustice to be here today to express our solidarity with the people of Syria against what the wrong U.S. policy is in that Middle Eastern nation. We oppose the arming of these counter-revolutionary rebels inside of Syria. They're doing nothing except bringing death and destruction to that wonderful country. We want to tell the Obama administration, the U.S. Congress, no arms to the rebels, hands off Syria. We want a united Syria, and we want a peaceful Middle East. We want money for jobs. We want money for income. We want money for our cities and not for war. We have enough economic problems here in the United States. Rather than sending arms and using our precious tax dollars to fund these counter-revolutionary rebels inside of Syria. I just want to say in closing that the only reason now that the U.S. is stepping up its rhetoric against President Assad's government is for the simple fact that these rebels were defeated in Kusar. They're being defeated in Aleppo. And we send our deep appreciation to the Syrian National Army, to Hezbollah, yes, and to President, we say long live Syrian Arab Democratic Republic. We say long live the Arab Socialist Party. We say long live President Bashar al-Assad.
Special thanks to Mr. Abayomi for making the trip here. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, our young people have suffered greatly. Ladies and gentlemen, our young people have suffered greatly in Syria, becoming victims of terrorist activities, and those who were lucky not to lose their lives are losing the joy of life, their youth, and their innocence. Let us join one of these innocent children in sending the message to President Obama. Ladies and gentlemen, we're walking wide Sabbath. Good evening, everyone. My name is Wahad David. I was born here in America, but my family is from Syria, which makes me Syrian and I am proud to be. What I'm going to say right now is a message from President Obama. Dear President Obama, you are seeing what is happening in Syria and you're acting. The way you're acting, though, is wrong. When the school shooting in Connecticut happened, you cried over the children and adults, and we all cried with you and sympathized with their families. But what about the children and adults dying in Syria every day due to you giving weapons to what America calls rebels, but are really terrorists? Hundreds and hundreds of people are dying there every day because you are sending weapons to terrorists. You are the President of the United States of America, not Syria, so why interfere? What you are doing is wrong. We Syrians want our country back to the way it was, peaceful and beautiful, not a theater of war as you are making it. I still have hope for Syria. I will not stop fighting my own peaceful way for Syria. Stop the war, we want peace in Syria. I want kids my age living in my mother country to live peacefully the same way I am living here. After 12 years of the war against Al-Qaeda, the U.S. decides to provide weapons to the allies of Al-Qaeda. Are you kidding us, Mr. President? I mean, you are fighting to protect America from Al-Qaeda and now you're supporting them? That is wrong. You're not doing make it any good for America nor Syria. Syria is a part of my life and I am glad it is. What if all this was happening in America? Would you try to stop them or would you let the terrorists keep killing people? What if your children and family were there and had food or shelter and heard bombs? You wouldn't want them to live like that. Please, stop sending weapons and money to terrorists. I can't wait until I go to Syria for the first time. It may be different, but it's still Syria. If my family and parents let me, I would be in Syria right now. If I was allowed to, nothing would stop me. Even if it means risking my life, I would still go just to see my family. To see kids my age who are terrorized on a daily basis by people you support, by American weapons. I hope this actually meant something, and I hope you stop sending weapons to these terrorists, because one day these terrorists that you are funding and supporting will be in America doing the same thing they're doing in Syria. So please, stop sending weapons to these zombies that are eating people's hearts. I saw that video, and they're not even humans. I am against America funding the militants and terrorists in Syria. Please, Mr. President, work for peace, not war. I would also like to state that no one can tell me I'm wrong, because this is a free country and I have freedom of speech. God bless Syria and God bless America. I want America's peace, not war. I will always be proud to be Syrian and American. Thank you.
لينا جيسيكا جيمي ها فيديو عمو
حلبي
عمو
شبيحة للأبد لست عيونك يا أسد شبيحة للأبد لست عيونك.
Look at me, look at me. 1, 2.
صورها بس هيك من عدد
يلا بدون شو
هذه يشوفوها بسوريا.